Okay, so for this layout, I'm going to start with just doing a little bit of texture paste. I just use a spackle knife, and this is really just to kind of give a little bit of texture to the back. The white color kind of softens the blue greens. I really don't know what I'm doing. I've kind of pre-made this layout so I know kind of where I want my texture to go. I'm going to do a little up in the corners. You can kind of do it any way you want. You can use a stencil. You don't have to do the texture. I like it, especially if you spray it with the inks. It really does take the ink color as everything on my desk falls down. Alright, so done with the texture paste. So you can use a heat tool. This is pretty thin, so sorry it's going to be loud, just heat tool it. And that's pretty thin, so that should do it. Yeah, pretty good. Alright, so because this color of this paper is so rich in greens and blues, I've chose two ink colors. The first one I have is the, don't know if you can see it, there you go, it's a Mr. Huey Splash color, and then the next one I've chose is the Polished Jade by Dilutions. So I'm going to start with my lightest color, and this I've kind of decided that I'm going to put my picture in this area, so I kind of want the color to burst out around it. So what I'm going to do is just kind of carefully tilt my paper and do a few sprays and kind of pat it down. It's almost going to look like water. It's going to drip, and you can let it drip however much you want, however little you want, and let it sit there. And once it sits there, get some nice color in it. You can take a heat tool to it if you want to dry it. I kind of just pat it with my paper towel to get the excess. You can see that's a pretty light color on here, just adds a different depth. I'm going to do a little more. Sorry if that went off camera. I'm just going to let that drip up. Let that sit a bit. Let it sit, let it sit. Soak it up a bit. That just adds a little bit. And a few little sprays around. And you don't have to add any extra texture or color to this paper. I mean, as you can see, this paper is really beautiful alone. I am addicted to mixed media, so I like to add texture and sprays and everything I can to any type of layout. So that was my light color. So now I'm going to go with my really bright color, and first I'm not going to do too much with this because the Dilutions is a very, very vibrant and just a thick color. So I'm just going to do a few little squirts and kind of tap my paper down, and you can see that this one is much more vibrant than the other, and when I wipe it off the color kind of stays. And then a few more little squirts, dab it off. Alright. And of course most of this is going to be hidden underneath my picture, but that's alright. So the next step I want is I always kind of take my lid off my ink and just kind of make little water splashes on the page. This just adds lots of little drops of color, and because it's a beach theme, who wouldn't want like little droplets everywhere? And that is that. And we'll let it dry. And so I'm going to heat tool this and pause, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that my drops are dry, my paste is dry, I'm going to layer my papers. Now I've kind of done a little bit of this ahead of time. First I've matted my photo it's a black and white photo. I wanted it to kind of match a little bit, so what I did is I went around the photo itself with the Tim Holtz Distress ink in weathered wood. It kind of has that old beachy feel. I don't know if you can see around the side or not, but it does have a little soft edge. So I've mounted that, and then I've put some dimensionals on the back because I actually want this picture raised. So first I have taken a nice, this is a full 12 by 12 sheet of paper from the paper pack, and I have cut out this nice lighthouse image. I have all the flowers and tags and everything from this collection. I always buy collections. It's really easy to use. So I have everything. So I just picked out a few tags, and it also comes with these little boarding pass tickets, which are super cute. I like them, especially with this theme. I'll kind of show you a few more here. So there's those. Here's a few more. You can see that. There you go. So I took some and glued them kind of in a collage style in a little tag. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my wet glue. You can use any wet glue you want. You can use a dry glue. This glue is a wet glue, but it really sticks super fast. So when you put it down, you don't have much time to move your paper. So just kind of make sure that's where you want it. But this glue is amazing. I'm not sure where you can find it anymore, probably online. So I think I want this right around this area. I see a little bit of the ink around it, a little bit of the color. That looks pretty good. All right, I'm just gonna press that down. So just layered paper, tags. All right, and so the next step is I have got a few things already over here. So you're just, well, I guess I should put down my picture first. Sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained doing this as I go. I'm doing my dimensionals. And I think I'm going to put this picture right about, oh, that looks pretty good. Alright, so my picture's down. It's kind of 3D. So I'm just going to add a few more elements. I've cut out some shapes from the paper pack here, you can see. I'm just going to glue that down next to it. And here it's really just all about putting the different layers, what you like, what you don't like. I always cut images and bits and pieces out of the paper. You can see on this paper, this is where the lighthouse image was, but this paper is so pretty. I mean, it's got postage stamps and maps, and so I always cut images out. I have another one of the lovely tags. I've taken the twine off of this one though. I just wanted it plain. And glue that down, let's say right. Oh, that looks good. Right about there. Alright, so there's that. I have made a banner. And where did my banner go? There it is. So I have made a small banner. For this, all I did is take some scrap pieces of paper and cut them into equal sizes, and I just folded over the back, over the twine, and all my letters just fell off. Fantastic. Guess that's why I never use pre-cut letters. Anyway, okay, so we can work with that. So I've made my banner, and I kind of want this to go right down here. Maybe I want it across my photo. Yep, I think I want it across my photo. So I'm just going to glue that down on some of the paper itself, because paper, this really sticks to the paper really well. You don't have to use hot glue or any super dry adhesive or anything. If I can just glue it paper to paper, it will stay. And pretty quick. Let's press that down a bit. That way my banner is still raised. Alright, so I did have some letters on here. Let's see if I can get them to stick. This is kind of my title for the page, and it's just sun. I might go in here and do some chipboard embellishments or something with this, but we'll just use this for now. So that is my banner. And as you can see, I've built up quite a bit of layers with this layout here. You can always add more. I have cut out a few different shapes and put dimensionals on them. There's little shapes that I've cut out from the paper, used a little dimensional in the back. So you can kind of place your dimensionals wherever. Here's a cute, another little piece that I fussy cut from the paper. And I'm probably just going to stick that right up there. Oh, and I noticed that I have an extra piece of paper around. Obviously, I'm not going to use it because it doesn't fit anywhere, and that's completely okay. And I got some of these awesome flair. I love the Prima products because they always have such beautiful embellishments. And of course, the flare buttons are one of my favorites. So I will just probably pick one of these. Let's do a bright color that'll kind of set it off. No, I think I'll go with the seashell. So I'm going to go with the seashell. And where should I put it? Right here is pretty good. Right there. There we go. And voila, I have my layout. So this is kind of a beachy theme. I've got my banner and some journaling. So one of the awesome things that I love about journaling is I love doing it freehand. Some people, type things up. One of the things I like to do is actually go around an image. And so here, you can just go around an image and whatever you want to say. It doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, so you can't really see it, but once you get close you can kind of see it, but I'll finish going around the whole picture and doing some journaling. So, I hope you like the layout. You can do this with any paper. So, again, just to kind of recap, we've just matted a photo, put some dimensionals on it, took several different pieces of paper and tags, kind of glued them in various spots to kind of make a collage behind, and it made this awesome banner with just some of the paper snippets from the collection. Now you can go in with flowers and whatnot. I have seashells, all sorts of stuff that you can put on here. This came with a stamp, and I love to stamp on images just as dimensions. So here, I don't know if you can see, there's the stamp. And I'm not going to do the full stamp. I'm just kind of going to do enough that puts a little texture. So you can see, like right here, I'll just kind of go in and do a few little texture spots. Right there, some texture right there. And go in and right there. And go over the corners of the paper. This really just, it matches the paper and just kind of gives you a little bit more dimension. All right, I can't wait to see your creations.